What's up, youth group? Okay, here we are in Galatians today. Galatians 5, verse 1. Got my Bible here, and we're going to read from my Bible. Just one verse today, but it's a good one. Okay, Galatians 5:1. It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm then, and do not let yourselves be burdened again by a yoke of slavery. So, a yoke is something that, we'll start with that yoke of slavery part of the verse here. A yoke is something that was tied around the necks, okay, of like oxen, usually in those days, to like, plow your fields. If you were a farmer, you would maybe have a couple of oxen and you would put them side by side and you would use this big harness that would go around their necks and like bind them together, and then they would pull a plow through a field. This is a very heavy thing that would go around your neck. It was not easy to carry. And so when he says, don't be burdened by a yoke of slavery, this is a big burden. A yoke is not something you can easily get out of, or that gives you a lot of wiggle room. It's not something you want to wear. You're not going to just, put on a yoke and go out to the club. It's just, I don't know what I'm saying. But the point is, the slavery that he's referring to is not, this is being a slave to the law. So this is what he's saying is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Now, the context here is that in Galatians, Paul is really trying to communicate to these people that it's not, Christianity, following Christ, is not about the rules that of the Jewish culture. For centuries, we have people that they thought and they believed that in order to be right with God, in order to go to heaven, in order to have a relationship with God or to be righteous, that you had to follow like 600 and something rules. Now, this is impossible to do because the only people that could follow 600 and something rules every single day and be right with God, quote unquote, were people that did this full time. Now, this is where we got Pharisees from. Pharisees were religious people that all they did with their whole day was try and follow God's laws. Now, these are not God's laws because they were laws that, God only gave 10 commandments, and he gave some other stuff in the law, like the, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Deuteronomy, and Numbers. These were like laws and stuff for the old times. But really, like, nobody could follow all these laws except for the Pharisees. Unfortunately, the problem with the Pharisees is they became so consumed with following the law and all 600 of these laws that most of them they had just made up over time, that was their whole identity, and they never knew Jesus. They never knew God, that Jesus hadn't come at this point, right? I mean, by now he had, but before Jesus, they were trying to follow the rules. Well, Paul is saying it's not about following the Jewish rules. Okay, being a Christian is not about the rules. It's not about what you eat. It's not about all this stuff. He says, this is the past. Christianity is about Jesus. So he says, it is for freedom from the law, from following the law, that Christ has set us free. So now that Jesus has come, and he has died on the cross, and he has rose again from the grave, okay, and ascended into heaven, now we are free from the Jewish law. We're free from all of that burden, that's impossible to carry. Now, what do? We follow Jesus. Okay, we read his word, we pray, and we follow the two laws that I say laws, but the two things that Jesus said for us to do. In fact, he was asked, what is the greatest commandment by somebody, and he said the first one is love the Lord your God with all your heart, your mind, your soul, and your strength. Okay, and the second one is equal to it, and that's love your neighbor as yourself. We do these things. Okay, we are governed by the law of love. We love God and we love everyone around us, and that's what we do. We follow Christ. So that's my verse for you today that I have. Is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Okay, we don't have to be a slave to the law or to following all the rules. We now follow Christ, and we follow the two commandments that he said, which is to love God and love each other. And that's tough to do. So we pray and ask him to show us how every single day, and for his Spirit to live in us and give us the strength. All right. Have a great day. Love you guys. See you soon. Bye.